Okay, in the previous lecture we have learnt about repeat while loop. In this lecture I am going to tell you about repeat for loop. Repeat for loop is very interesting and it's easier one. Okay, let me tell you how to apply this loop. I am going to write down the algo that will print all the natural numbers from 1 to 100. So this is the same program that we have done in case of repeat while also, but I will show you how to write it using repeat for loop. So step number 1, repeat for num is equal to 1 to 100. See carefully. It means the subsequent statement will be repeated as long as the value of num runs from 1 to 100. When the value of num will reach 101, that means any value above 100, the condition will become false and it will break, right? So repeat for num is equal to 1 to 100. Again, let me explain it. It means there is a variable called num. Basically it's a counter variable, value of which will be automatically initialized with 1, and each time the loop executes, its value will be incremented by 1 automatically. The value of this counter variable num will be increased by 1 automatically, will be incremented by 1 automatically without our having to write set num colon is equal to num plus 1. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, and then repeat for num is equal to 1 to 100. This is having one loop statement, so that is right colon num. So what will happen is, because I have told you that the value of num will be initialized with 1. So when you write right colon num, it indicates that the value of current value of num, that is 1, that will be printed on the screen. What will happen after that? The control will automatically go up and value of num will become 2. Automatically it will become 2. This is called auto incrementation, and this auto incrementation takes place only by 1. So now the value of num is 2. It will become 2. It will come to the following statement, which happens to be the loop statement. Right colon num is going to print the value of num, which is 2. Again it will go up. Now auto incrementation of num will take place, and now the value of num will become 3. Right colon num, 3 will be printed. Again it will go up. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each time this loop executes, the value of num is going to be incremented by 1. So as you might have guessed, the last time the value of num will be that will be printed is 100. So 100 will be printed on the screen. After that it will go up and value of num will be automatically incremented by 1 and it will become 101. But the loop will not execute. Why? Because the condition has become false, because we have said that repeat for num is equal to 1 to 100. That means this loop was to be executed only as long as the value of num runs between 1 and 100. And this is the end of algorithm. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. In this case, I'm going to show you an algo that will print all the even numbers from 1 to 100 by using repeat for loop. Okay, so as I have told you earlier, what happens is when we apply repeat for loop, the value of the counter variable is incremented by 1 automatically by default. I would say by default the value of the counter variable, in this case the counter variable is num, that will be incremented by 1. But what if I want to increment the value of num not by 1 but by some other value, by some other interval? So in that case it's very easy. I will use the clause by. So when I would write by 2, see, repeat for num is equal to 2 to 100 by 2. What does it mean? The value of num will be initialized with 2, and next time when value of num will be incremented, that will not be incremented by 1, rather that will be incremented by 2. So by 2 clause means that. So let's see it. The initial value of num happens to be 2. So it will enter into the loop block. This statement belongs to the loop. So right colon num, the current value of num that happens to be 2 will be printed. It will go up, and because we have written the clause by 2, now the value of num will be incremented by 2. So from 2 it will become 4. It will come to this place, 4 will be printed. Again it will go up. From 4 it will become 6. 6 will be printed, 8, 10, 12, 14, so on. Last time the value of num will be printed is 100. Again it will go up and it will increment the value of num by 2. It will become 102, but now the condition is false because we have clearly stated that repeat for num is equal to 2 to 100. That means this loop will go on as long as the value of num is between 2 and 100. So the loop will break, and this is the end of this algorithm, right? Let's have another example which you can understand very easily on your own. This is algo to print all the odd numbers from 1 to 100. So what I am doing is repeat for num is equal to 1 to 100 by 2. Now the initial value of num is 1. Why? Because we are supposed to print odd numbers, and each time the value of the counter variable num will be incremented by 2 and not 1. So if first time the control will go into the loop block, right colon num, the value of num will be printed. So that is 1. Again it will go up. Now the value of num will be incremented by 2. It will become 3. 3 will be printed. It will go up. Now from 3 it will become 5. 5 will be printed, 7, 9, so on. So last time the value of num that will be printed is 99. So after printing 99 it will go up, and the value of num will become 101. But the loop will not work because we have clearly stated that the loop should continue only as long as the value of num is between 1 and 100. So this is how repeat for loop works.